time is now 6 p.m. and the regular meeting of the City Council of Denison, Texas is now in session. Our invocation this evening will be given by Richard Osborne of the St. Luke's Episcopal Church.
Let us pray. Dearest Father, God of mercy and love and justice, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction, and help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint, and give us the gift of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority, and guide us to be the leaders your people need, and help us to see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confidence in your goodness and love. Amen.
It is our honor this evening to have with us veteran Chris Sanders, who will lead us in our pledge. Mr. Sanders is a U.S. Army veteran who served 1989 to 1990 as a supply chain specialist at Fort Jackson, South Carolina. He is currently second vice commander at the American Legion in Denison, where he continues to serve his fellow veterans and their families. He is also active in the Sons of the American Legion and the Legion Riders Organization. Mr. Sanders, thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for having me. If you would, please join me in our nation's pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you would now, please join me in this pledge to our state flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you for having me.
This evening we have a proclamation concerning Water Safety Month. I think this is a subject that is well worth raising awareness of our communities. So if Betty Bridges, the Aquatic Facilities Manager, will join me at the podium, I'll present the proclamation.
Mayor, it looks like this is Dory Smith. She's standing in for Betty tonight. Yes.
Whereas citizens of Denison, Texas recognize the vital role that swimming and aquatic-related activities relate to good physical and mental health and enhance the quality of life for all people. And whereas we acknowledge that within Grayson County and the city of Denison, there are multiple residential pools, Waterloo Pool, Lake Texoma, which is one of the largest reservoirs in the United States, and the Red River, not to mention Waterloo Lake, Lloyd Lake, countless ponds and spas. And whereas Texas loses more children under the age of 5 to drowning more than any other state. Fatal and non-fatal drownings are silent events occurring in as little as 2 inches of water. The loss of a child is heartbreaking and has rippling, long-lasting effects on the lives touched by it. Water safety education and water safety awareness can help curb the number of drowning fatalities. And whereas the citizens of Denison, Texas recognize that water safety is a lifelong skill that can and should be taught in primary and secondary school education. and the essential role that education regarding the topic of water safety plays in preventing drownings and recreational water-related injuries. And whereas the citizens of Denison, Texas are aware of the contributions made by the recreational water industry as represented by the Denison Parks and Recreation Department and Waterloo Pool in developing a safe swimming facility, aquatic programs, and related activities providing healthy places to recreate, learn, and grow, build self-esteem, confidence, and sense of self-worth, which contributes to the quality of life in our community. And whereas the citizens of Denison, Texas recognize the ongoing efforts and commitments to educate the public on pool and spa safety issues and initiatives by the pool, spa, water park, recreation, and parks industries, and understand the vital importance of communicating water safety rules and programs to families and individuals of all ages, whether owners of private pools, users of public swimming facilities, or visitors to our Lake Texoma and Red River. Now therefore I, Janet Gott, as mayor, and on behalf of the city of Denison, Texas, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2021 as National Water Safety Month. Signed, Janet Gott, Mayor, City of Denison.
Thank you.
Would you like to say something?
No, just get your children in swim lessons, and I teach many of them, so,
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Thank you for what
Appreciate
you do in raising awareness about water safety.
Appreciate it.
At this point, in each council meeting, we set aside time that any citizen can speak on any action item listed on the agenda. In order to speak, you must first fill out a request to speak card and complete it prior to reaching this point in our agenda. Benjamin, do we have any request to speak cards?
No, Mayor, no requests were received.
Therefore, there will be no public comments. Item 4, consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hander and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5A, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance adopting an amended and updated project and financing plan for tax increment reinvestment zone number 1, including adding costs for phase 3. John Lawson, Assistant City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. And Mayor, I thought for this item, I would give the new members just a quick primer on what a TERS is, what we're doing here. We have a TERS board who has already met and approved the underlying item here today, this for your all's recommendation. But let's start with what a TERS is. There are cities that will identify where developers perhaps want to come in and, or that they want to target some development in certain areas of the city. And a TERS, and I should give you what that initials actually means. It's a tax increment reinvestment zone. I know that sounds very interesting. But anyways, what that is when someone comes in and develops a property, the city can pass an ordinance, and sometimes the counties do on top of it as well, where you can capture the incremental value of that increase in property tax, and you can reinvest it into that zone. You define your percentage. It has to be for certain things, and it has to be in certain areas of the city, and I won't get into too deeply in tax law and items like that, but it's a really great driver for certain parts of the city to develop and redevelop parts of the city that frankly you wouldn't have those funds anyways, because otherwise it would just be undeveloped property, right? So what you're doing is you're capturing that incremental part. And so what we're talking about tonight, and Renee's gonna help us too, is that this particular TERS was established back in 2012. Back then, the city identified this particular part of the city to develop or redevelop. And what you do is you start with a plan The developer starts with a plan, the city and sometimes the county comes in and figures out how much they want to contribute in that incremental capture. And then through each phase, sometimes it's just one phase, sometimes not, but through each phase, developers produce a project and financing plan, was what we're looking at tonight, and basically state what they're going to do. We, as a city and y'all staff, then looks at the feasibility of it based on what the land is producing, what you're getting back. If it's feasible, then it can go to the TERS board, and then they can make a recommendation to you all to approve it. That has happened already. But anyways, we could talk, we'll let Renee talk about the underlying projects and what it has produced. But I just wanted to give you guys a primer of what TERS are. You guys have several. Like I said, TERS Board 1 just met last week and approved for recommendation the financing plan. So it's a really good, unique tool that cities and counties have to invest in their cities.
Ms. Wagner?
Yes, good evening,
You're gonna
Mayor.
take it from here?
I will try to take it from here and answer all your questions. As Mr. Lawson stated, that we do have several TERS. We have 5 TERS in the city of Denison. We're currently talking about TERS 1, and what he's talking about, what he has mentioned, is what was taken before the board this past Monday, May 10th, a week from today, or a week ago today, is the changes to finance plan, or the updates, not really changes, but updates to the Phase 3 plan. And so I'm just going to kind of talk about what the updates in Phase 3 plan are that the board went ahead and approved, and what you will be approving tonight for the tax increment refinancing zone number 1. Under the project 3, or the phase 3 of Gateway Village, we had THF Park, and those park improvements included mass grading, streets, utilities, walking trails, pedestrian bridge, and then the appraised value for the donated land. All of that has been completed, and so the board approved that. Hayday Street Extension, that was an extension of public infrastructure, and that has been completed in Phase 3. The Reserve, Phases 1 through 3, this is installation of public infrastructure for the Reserve subdivision. That is currently in progress, and so that is part of Phase 3 that's being approved. That's the project plan. As far as the financing portions of it, of course, the developer will pay for that, and then based on reimbursement requests and verification of all those expenses, then a reimbursement would be made. But they have to go before the board to request that. The information comes to the city, we review it, we make a recommendation to the board for those payments. Administrative costs to the city comes out first, and then the developer's cost. But as far as the financing portion for Phase 3, what we did is we looked at assessed real property value, included anticipated new development and those incremental increases that Mr. Lawson talked about, and then we looked at annual increments going into that fund based on those, and we felt that the Phase 3 we would be able to reimburse the developer their expenses based on those anticipated revenue increases.
And so, Ms. Wagner, for the sake of our new council members, those expenses that are reimbursed have to be documented.
Correct. They have to be documented, and they have...
That they have expended.
Correct. They have to have copies of invoices, proof of those payments, proof of those expenditures. We go through and make sure they meet the criteria for the development agreement as well, because there's an agreement that we sign with them of, this is what you can expend in the development that is reimbursable. Not everything they expend in the development is reimbursable. Mostly it has to do with public infrastructure such as water, sewer, streets, trails, those things.
Questions for Ms. Wagner or Mr. Lawson? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance adopting an amended and updated project financing plan for tax increment reinvestment zone number 1, including adding project costs for Phase 3.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Crawley and a second by Councilmember Doty. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5B, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing related to the unsafe condition of the posted structure 630 West Owen and take action on an order authorized by Chapter 214 of the Texas Local Government Code, including but not limited to securing the building from entry or the repair, vacation, removal, or demolition of the structure and access of civil penalty. Mr. Lake.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, and welcome to our new members here. It's good to see everyone. So on May 3rd, 2021, Brad Crosswhite, Sylvia Bergen, J.L. Bergen, and the Grayson County Tax Assessor's Office were given notice of violation to repair or demolish the structure at 630 West Owings in Denison. The owners have failed to comply with the notice. The structure is unsafe in accordance with Chapter 13, Article 7, Section 13-154, H, M, and N of the Denison Code of Ordinances. Staff issued minimal property standards violations to the registered owner of this property on 2 occasions, once in 2019 and again in 2021 early in the year. Both times there was no contact from the owner, no repairs were made to the structure. The structure was posted as unsafe on March 23rd, 2021. The appraised value of the improvement in 2020 was $72,085. Taxes currently owed are $5,817.65, have not been paid since 2018. There has been no water in the structure since June 17, 2011. As you can see from the photos, the structure is not weather tight. There's multiple broken windows, windows missing, boarded up windows. The roof is in poor condition all the way down to the decking in most places. The structure is a nuisance in the neighborhood. There's a record of violations, notices, and the unsafe condition of the property on file in the Neighborhood Services Office. Staff is requesting to declare the structure unsafe and order its removal. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Lay? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to declare the structure at 630 West Owings a nuisance and unsafe, to order demolition, and to authorize staff to proceed with the demolition process.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Spiegel and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5C, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on the ordinance adopting the annexation of a portion of Preston Road located south of Fawn Hollow Drive and north of FM 691, case number 2021-03A. Before we begin, there is a rumor out there that today is Mr. Medina's birthday.
A rumor.
And really, John, you have him working the council meeting on his birthday? All of those things. Okay, well, we're gonna make up for that, John. If everybody will just join in, we're gonna sing Happy Birthday to Mr. Medina. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bill. Happy birthday to you. Now, Mr. Medina, happy birthday. Now that I have sufficiently embarrassed you, do you want to continue on with this item?
Breathe.
I would love to. Thank you very much. That was amazing. And I'm truly blessed to be able to report to this council. Thank you all. So item 5C. The applicant is wishing to annex this approximately 12 acres south, of FM 691, just south of Fawn Hollow Trail. Sometime late last winter, the city, sorry, get me out of my zone.
I threw you off your game, didn't I, Bill?
Yeah, you did.
The city was working with the county to annex this part of 691. A prospective developer would like to
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance annexing the subject property.
Second.
Is that you, Chris? No, it's Robert.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hander and a second by Councilmember Crawley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5D, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance establishing the initial zoning classification of agricultural district on a portion of Preston Road located south of Fawn Hollow Trail and north of FM 691, case number 2021-043Z. Mr. Medina. Step 2, right?
Yes, ma'am. Step 2. Here's the same piece of property that was just annexed in the city limits. And we must now zone it. It being public right-of-way, we feel that the appropriate zoning is a simple default zoning when a property is annexed, which in this case would be agricultural zoning district. So present for any questions that you may have, and city staff does recommend approval, and the Planning and Zoning Commission also recommended approval on the ordinance set.
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance establishing the initial zoning classification of agricultural district on the subject property.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Crawley and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5E, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance adopting the annexation of approximately 39 acres of land located at the northeast corner of Preston Road and FM 691, case number 2021-044A. Mr. Medina.
Thank you. Here's the subject property outlined in yellow. It's approximately 39 acres. The applicant is seeking that the subject property be annexed in the city limits as to receive city future water services as well as city sewer, and also a proposed plan development zoning district, which will be, that'll be a separate public hearing. That'll be the next item pending the approval of this annexation. And the applicant is here tonight as well. So present for any questions that you may have, the city staff is recommending approval.
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council? A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance annexing the subject property.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hander and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5F, receive a report, hold a discussion, and conduct a public hearing and take action on an ordinance establishing the initial zoning classification of planned development overlay district on approximately 39 acres of land located at the northeast corner of FM 691 and Preston Road, case number 2021-045Z. Mr. Medina.
Thank you. Here's, as a reminder, here's the subject property outlined in yellow on the northeast corner of FM 691 and Preston Road, just east of Grayson County College. Here's the proposed PD concept plan, proposed layout. As just a reminder, this is just a high-level concept plan right now. However, the proposed land uses and the proposed density should be consistent or will be consistent if adopted
Questions for Mr. Medina?
Mr. Medina, did you receive any public comment from neighboring properties as far as the development? Okay, good.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? Would you come forward, please, and state your name and address for the record?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. My name is Shay Kirkman, Kirkman Engineering, representing the ownership group. I appreciate y'all considering this case this evening. We're excited. We've been working with staff. Hold on. Happy birthday.
Really?
That was great. Thank you, Mayor, for putting me on the spot. I wish I was recording that, but this is recorded, so I'll be able to do it. So we've been working with staff for quite a while and excited when John came on board, worked with John for years and Prosper. And what we're trying to do is we see a huge opportunity with this property. We've got kind of on the southwest side, as you know, the college is growing, is doing well. College housing is sold out. And so we've got a good college housing opportunity. We also see with the Texoma medical growth, there's a lot of opportunities that will bring, those are employment centers, and those will bring residents up here. And so we're excited that this is a property we identified about 5 years ago and secured the land maybe 3 years ago. To get it entitled and set up, we worked with a handful of national multifamily and retail developers. And in today's climate, the economy, as you know, is crazy and challenging, and the land economy is just insane. We're trying to get property entitled with very specific zoning restrictions and development guidelines that kind of set the tone already, and then we can approach these national developers and specifically multifamily groups with this product and with this land. So you've probably seen some of this already. You're going to see this strategy a little bit more. We've got the ownership group as an investment group. We've done some land deals now for them for almost 10 years where we get it ready for some developers we've identified. But we go ahead and set the standards there now so that when it's not a surprise to council, if we sell the property to a multifamily developer, they have to adhere to these speedy standards. And there's several more processes that come through the city for approval. But in today's market, getting the entitlements done is now the first step we have to do. There are some national developers that say, I can't look at that yet until you've got your zoning in place. So we're trying to adapt to that, and we've worked with staff. Bill's been great. John's been great to really set the bar high, and I think we've done that. But happy to answer questions you have on the case.
Questions from council?
I'd just like to say that we appreciate your interest in Denison and look forward to additional projects.
Thank you.
Certainly. Looks good.
And we are certainly glad that you have gotten the help that you needed to get to this point. So that's good to hear.
And I didn't speak to all the annexations and whatnot prior to this were related, but I figured you don't even hear me talk about annexations.
So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here that wishes to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council? A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance establishing the initial zoning classification of planned development overlay district on the subject property.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Crawley and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5G, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance changing the zoning from local retail to planned development overlay district on 6.201 acres of land, property ID 218012 and 266036 along High Point Circle and Point Lookout Drive, case number 2021-052Z. Mr. Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Here are the subject properties outlined in yellow. This is located just west of US 75. You have High Point Drive running east to west, as well as, let's show High Point Drive twice on here. Probably an error on our map, sorry. But I'll move on. Here's the current zoning of the property.
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? Would you come forward, please, and state your name and address for the record?
I'm Don D'Amico, I'm in Salina. I'm really here to answer the questions if there might be any with the council.
Questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance changing the zoning on the subject property to the Planned Development Overlay District.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hander and a second by Councilmember Doty. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Mr. Medina, I think you earned, I don't know, a cupcake or something. You certainly
least a
did have to work on your birthday. So, all right, item 5H, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance amending section 28.10.4 relating to notice requirements for zoning hearings of Chapter 28, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, case number 2021-0610. Mr. Webb.
Thank you, Mayor. As referenced on the council agenda, this is a city-initiated amendment to the zoning ordinance. We continue to look for areas in zoning ordinance that we can create efficiencies. One of them is that under the current Denison ordinance, we require an extra step in notification that goes beyond state law, and that's requiring a newspaper notice to the Planning and Zoning Commission. State law only requires that we mail out notices to property owners within 200 feet, 10 days prior to the public hearing. This creates a little problem for us in that if we want to expedite a zoning case and get it on a sooner P&Z agenda, and ultimately at a sooner council agenda, we're a little bit hand-tied by having the notification in the newspaper. So we're requesting that we go back to the default requirements for state law and implement on state law requirements of taking this newspaper notice out. Continue to have newspaper notice for city council meetings as required by state law. And we made it just a minor amendment regarding public hearings. We can adopt a resolution for the ordinance. So Mayor, with that, we're at that. If I have any questions.
Questions for Mr. Webb?
Oh, and I'm sorry, you have a recommendation for approval from the Planning and Zoning Commission.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance amending section 28.10.4.
Second?
There is a motion by Councilmember Spiegel and a second by Councilmember Crawley. All those in favor, please say aye. Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5I, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance amending section 28.49 relating to use regulations for drive-through restaurants and drive-in restaurants of Chapter 28, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, case number 2021-00610. Mr. Webb.
Thank you, Mayor. Reference again on the agenda caption, this is a city-initiated request. In reviewing our land uses in the zoning ordinance, we discovered that restaurants are not permitted in the light industrial district. Tony and I personally promised if I could amend this by allowing me to bring at least 10 new restaurants into the city. Actually, as you know, we have quite a bit of land zone light industrial in the city, a lot of it's vacant, it may be underutilized. We believe that allowing restaurants in this district would help promote redevelopment of certain sites that today would not be able to do that. Also looking at the focuses of the drive-in restaurants, we believe that an additional use permit is more appropriate for the council, get a little bit more scrutiny on the drive-in restaurants. We'll see that change in the zoning ordinance. With that, Mayor, you have a recommendation of approval from the staff and the planning commission.
Questions for Mr. Webb? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council.
Mayor,
A
I just,
motion.
oh, I'm sorry.
Go
No,
ahead.
I wanted to make one comment about our Planning and Zoning Commission and just how much I appreciate the hard work they've been doing for multiple years now, and we've got a great group that's representing us on that really makes this easy to follow their lead. And so I just want to personally thank them and John, y'all's team, and Bill. So thank y'all for that.
Any further discussion or comments? A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance amending section 28.49.
Second.
There's a motion by Councilmember Crawley, a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you all very much. Items for individual consideration. 6A, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on an ordinance considering all matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, and delivery of City of Denison, Texas combination tax and limited surplus revenue certificates of obligation series 2021B, authorizing the issuance of the certificates, approving and authorizing instruments and procedures related to said certificates, and enacting other provisions relating to the subject. Ms. Wagner, would you like to explain all of that? Renee, pull the microphone down. There you go. Okay.
To give you a little bit of background on this, capital improvement projects and equipment, of course, were discussed during the fiscal year 2021 budget process. Request by council was made, and based on this plan, this is for water and sewer projects. And based on this, and the projects to be covered by this bond issuance include secondary thoroughfare costs, Teresa water line, the utilities under Lily Lake Road, system improvements and extensions, Duck Creek Interceptor, and other water line replacements on 691. Staff brought before council back in March a resolution for publication and notice, and the notices were published in the newspaper on 2 separate occasions and then posted on our city website. Pricing for those COs occurred today, and at your place there, your seating, is information that Marty Shute from Hilltop Securities is actually going to be presenting the pricing information to you and how things came out today for the city of Denison and this issuance of bonds. The dollars here, the financial consideration, principal amount of bonds to be issued was not to exceed $11.8 million, and of course, staff recommends approval of the ordinance, and I'll let Marty speak to the pricing so you can receive the business from her. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Marty Shue with Hilltop Securities. We represent the city as your financial advisor. included those in the packet of information for you. I encourage you to read both of those. But I will just mention that both reports highlight the strong management, strong liquidity, and very strong budgetary flexibility of the city. So, all in all, we think you should be pleased. These are very favorable rates. And I do think it's significant to note that some of you may remember we were here back in February. You sold the bonds at that time too. Rates were a little bit lower at that time. Those bonds actually secured an interest rate of 1.58%. But between both issues, I think it's very significant to note that the city has been able to secure about $29.3 million of funding at interest rates below 2%. And over half of that was, even below 1.6%. So very favorable results. By adopting the ordinance in front of you tonight, it's the final step of the bond issuance process. You're effectively accepting this rate and locking this into place for the life of the bonds. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions from council?
That's great.
All right. Thank you so much. And Renee, thank you.
Good job, Renee, right?
Absolutely.
Well,
That
let's-
credit rating is good. So discussion or comments from council? A motion.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance considering all matters incident and related to the issuance, sale, and delivery of City of Denison, Texas combination tax and limited surplus revenue certificates of obligation, Series 2021B, authorizing the issuance of the certificates, approving and authorizing instruments and procedures relating to said certificates, and enacting other provisions related to the subject.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Hander and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Thank you very much, both of you. Pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, the council reserves the right to convene in executive sessions from time to time as deemed necessary during this meeting to receive legal advice from its attorney on any posted agenda item as permitted by law, or to discuss the following: consult with attorneys on a matter in which the attorney's duty to the governmental body under the Texas Disciplinary Rules of Professional Conduct conflicts with this chapter, and/or consult with attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or contemplated settlement of the same, section 551.071. Confer with the city attorney regarding city manager position. Confer with city attorney regarding ancillary energy cost. Discuss the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment of duties, discipline, or dismissal of, or to hear a complaint against a public officer or employee, section 551.074, discuss city manager position. The time is 6:45 and the council is now in executive session.